Well, good Monday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods. Hope everybody's doing great and hope you tune in tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, for our live stream. We'll get lively because we know the Eagle fans that are always here trolling the hell out of the Dallas Cowboys. You know, it's incredible that we are witnessing history here this year in the NFL. We are seeing the greatest collection of talent ever in the history of football. The greatest GM, the greatest quarterback, the greatest offensive line, the greatest wide receiver core, and now the greatest secondary combination, Bradbury and Darius Slay, according to Pro Football Focus. Greatest defensive line. I don't even know why we're having a football season this year, because the Eagles are literally that great. If you listen to Philly 500, there's just no point. It's reckoning time for Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, according to them. But for some reason, they are going to still have a season. And for me, it's kind of great. You know, I've been working on the red brick house, so I've been away from here for a while. And it's kind of cool to look down and see the clock. 59 days, 12 hours, 24 minutes, and 17 seconds away from kickoff of the season. It is freaking great to see us under 60. Training camps, 2 weeks and a couple of days away. They'll be opening up. We'll be seeing what we're going to see. Now, I've got a real thing with you guys. Now, have you noticed something that happens to the Cowboys that doesn't happen with anybody else? Mostly our quarterbacks. And it's kind of like a perception versus a reality. They will come up with something derogatory to try and kill the Cowboys with, and they won't use it on anybody else. Like, this is the only person ever to have this problem. This year's hot thing is Dak Prescott and his interceptions. That you would think with Dak Prescott's interceptions that Dak Prescott should be left on the side of the road like a garbage can. He needs to be out of the NFL. All those interceptions he threw, oh my God, Dak Prescott, jeez. I'll give you another example. Think about Dinkin and Duncan. Do you remember how much we heard Shannon Sharp? You know, Dak Prescott, he nothing but a dink and dunker, man. Not just a dink and dunker. Dinkin and Duncan down the field. You know, that was what they said. Now, here's what's funny. If we actually go back to his rookie year, okay, let's pop up Dak Prescott right here. Let's do this for a second here. Just humor me for a second. Dak Prescott's rookie year, he averaged 8 yards a pass. 8 yards a pass, which was fourth in the NFL. You had Matty Ice at 9.3, Tom Brady at 8.2, Kirk Cousins at 8.1, Dak Prescott. And then you start looking below him, you see Andrew Luck, Drew Brees, Ryan Tannehill, Russell Wilson, Phillip Rivers. Let's look at interceptions. Phillip Rivers that season in 2016 had 21 interceptions. Jameis Winston had 17. 18. Ryan Fitzpatrick had 17. Eli Manning had 16. Dak Prescott, you had to go way down to 35th with only 4. Here's an interesting thing. Guess what? Let's go up here to the next season. The next season, let's go to interceptions. Deshaun Kaiser led the NFL with 22, followed by Cam Newton, Marcus Mariota, blah, 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 blah. Dak Prescott was 11th with 13th. The thing is, that year, his numbers went down on yards per pass. They fluctuated. They went down to 6.5. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next season. NFL passing. Interceptions. Ben Roethlisberger led it with 16, followed by Andrew Luck with 15. Case Keenum, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, James Winston, so on. And where's Dak Prescott? Dak. Dak was 25th with 8. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? You see where I'm going here? Yard average. Dak Prescott, middle of the pack, 7.4. What's funny is Dak Prescott, Mr. Dinkin' and Duncan, was tied that year with Aaron Rodgers. I've never heard anybody say Aaron Rodgers is a dinking and dunker. The only quarterback I've heard is Dak Prescott. Does that mean that nobody any longer is dinking and dunking? I guess not, because they don't use that term anymore. How about garbage time? Remember that? Garbage time? They're empty calories. Dak Prescott, because they just blowing people out, man. Those games, man, they mean nothing. It's garbage time. Because I remember Rashid over there constantly talking, Dak Prescott, all his yards are garbage time. But yet the biggest garbage time quarterback out there, Matthew Stafford, whose team was always behind with the Lions, I've never heard anybody say he had his yards in garbage time. All I hear is he's one of the fastest people to 50,000 yards passing. Oh, okay. Here's what's kind of crazy. Because when they talk about all these things about Dak Prescott, that he's dinking and dunking, what they don't say is they were 13-3. Here it is. It's garbage time. They're 12-6. I'm sorry, 12-5. Interceptions. With Dak Prescott, they scored more points than anybody else. So they focus in on one stat that says, oh, he's no good. But here's the reality. Let's take a look at the totality of a career. In interception percentage, that means for every pass that you make, what is the chances of it actually being an interception? The all-time leader, Aaron frickin' Rodgers, Jacoby Brissett, Pat Mahomes, Tyrod Taylor, Tom Brady, Colin Kaepernick, Justin Herbert. Shout out to Justin Herbert. Maybe he is as good as everybody says. Russell Wilson, and then surprisingly, Daniel Jones. That was one I couldn't believe, who was tied with Dak Prescott, both with only 2%. That's it. So to say that Dak Prescott has interception problem, it's one season. One season where you had receivers that could not get open. Sorry. Noah Brown and a hurt Michael Gallup were 118 and I think 126 in separation. If you don't have guys that are open, the chances are greater that a tipped up pass is going to be intercepted. It just is. I know the talking heads won't look and say, yeah, Dak threw some bad passes, but also his receivers also made some bad moves. Some receivers gave up on some routes. Receivers tipped up the ball, and the defensive players in the right place at the right time. But what will happen is the interceptions won't be there this year, and then we'll be on to some other new slander for Dak Prescott. Because year after year, it's always somebody else that's leading the NFL in interceptions. Warren Moon led it twice in his career. He's a Hall of Famer. Brett Favre had 2 years where I think he had 29. It happens like everything in the NFL. But it's okay. At least we have some hope. Of course, there is the juggernaut that is the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's listen to Dan Graziano and his thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys' chances against that juggernaut, the Eagles.
Here in our second hour, but we're just 20 days away from training camp opening for all NFL teams. And that includes the Kansas City Chiefs, who are looking to win their second straight Super Bowl with reigning MVP Patrick Mahomes. There has not been a repeat Super Bowl champion since the Patriots in 2003-2004. The Eagles hope to make it back to the Super Bowl after Jalen Hurts' breakout season. Hurts securing the bag this offseason with a deal that averages $51 million a year. And how about them Cowboys? Dallas is still in search of its first conference championship appearance since 1995. That after yet another early playoff exit this season. You know, if they won the division, that would certainly help. And that
didn't we make it to the second
round drought for Dallas? The good news for them is, as good as the Eagles look, they're in a division where no one repeats. It has been 18 seasons since the last back-to-back NFC East champion. That was the Eagles, but it was back in 2003 and 2004. So, Jeremy Fowler, I'm struggling with this because I really do believe in this NFC East no repeat curse. I think weird things have happened to keep it alive throughout the years. I can't come up with a reason not to like the Eagles this year to repeat in the division. Right. So please help me. Do you have one?
Well, a reason is Dallas is going to be slightly better this year. That's my expectation, at least. The Eagles are awesome on paper. They are dominant at several spots, got top 10 players all over the field. It's just hard to repeat, like you talked about, Dan, winning 13, 14 games 2 years in a row, where Dallas, I believe, has better balance on defense. They're about 20 deep on that side of the ball. They're working hard for Dak to reduce those turnovers, not be throwing those picks every 20 attempts or so. I believe he'll fix that with a stronger running game and a better supporting cast.
Look at that.
Well, I think there are issues if you are trying to nitpick and find reasons to think that the Eagles aren't going to be good enough to win the division.
That's exactly what we're doing. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about searching for something, linebacker depth maybe, safety position, defensively. Can they be as strong as they were? Something catastrophic happens to Jalen Hurts. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could go wrong, like you said, that have happened. 2 new coordinators. I mean, how do they adjust there? Do they get off to a slow start? But yeah, I'm sorry. Like, streaks have to end eventually, and the last team to do it were the Eagles. So why can't the Eagles be the one to bookend it and end this long 18-year streak?
I guess they could be. Sacha, what do you think about all this?
Well, I'm with that. I think one of the reasons that you could consider Philly maybe not repeating is that new defensive coordinator, Sean Desai. So we all know he's a great defensive mind. I played for him when I was in Chicago, but there is some difference in transitioning to a new defense, or at least a new defensive system. And I do understand that Vic Fangio, who Sean Desai was with when he was in Chicago, Vic Fangio was consulting with the Eagles last year, but still, it's going to be a new system. And so all these players have to be able to adapt and adjust and really listen to Sean's voice. I think that'll be the biggest difference in this defense from last year to this.
Now, if they don't repeat, if the Eagles don't repeat, somebody does have to win the division. Jeremy, you touched on the Cowboys. I mean, I have some concerns about the change at offensive coordinator, but you think, I mean, they've obviously added some talent. You think they'll actually be a better team this year?
Well, Michael Gallup finally healthy, and then you add Brandon Cooks. So with CeeDee Lamb, you have a really good 3-man receiver group, plus Tony Pollard, finally the lead back for good. No more Ezekiel Elliott. I think that's better for the overall health of the offense. We know the offensive line has been good, so Dak's not going to have to play hero ball as much. He's not going to have to isolate CeeDee Lamb, throw it to him 20 times a game. That's going to produce better results. I expect Dak Prescott to have a little bit of a spite season. He's going to have an edge coming this year after what happened last year. People are counting him out as sort of a top 10 quarterback, but he's still in there somewhere.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. Again, letting go of Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, head coach Mike McCarthy taking over the play calling. To me, that could go a number of different ways. So we're going to pick.
Okay. So here's again, the funny thing on all this is when it happens to the Cowboys, it's the end of the world. Happens to somebody else. Doesn't matter. So the Cowboys have the death knell because Kellen Moore was released. But no effect for the Eagles that ended up losing their offense and defensive coordinator. You follow me on that? But hey, it's all good. You know, Eagle fans will tell me why I'm an idiot, of course, and why I'm wrong, and how the Cowboys just suck. Yeah, it's like that. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope to see you guys tonight. Got a kitchen I've got to go work on for a customer, and I will be back here later. And as always,
Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.